Alright, so in the last video we ended up identifying there was more problems than I anticipated. It looks like the turbo's pretty much fried. Downpipe's not in good shape. All the gaskets for the downpipe just disintegrated. So I got it torn down, intercooler, turbo, downpipe. But now I got to get the manifold out. I took the opportunity to clean some of this mess out from that oil explosion we had when we did the first start and there was no oil pressure sending it in the block, so it shot oil all over the engine. So cleaned that up. I'm not quite ready to completely tear this thing down, but we're gonna I'm gonna get this manifold out. I'm pretty confident there's a manifold leak. So I'm going to get started on that, and then probably end up putting headers on this car. I do have to clean up the intake. I'm tempted to get new injectors since we're going to a VF39. Might be good to get some new injectors put in. It does need new fuel lines, at least up here. So I want to replace all these. I think that's about it for right now. So let me get started on getting this manifold out, and then we'll go from there. So there's one right there. There's another one up there. There's one back there. There's no O2 sensor on this side. And I think we're going to have to take this out in pieces to get this whole thing out. So I'm working on that. So I got it out. Manifold's out with the up pipe. You can see the gaskets were not in great shape. So now I got to source some headers for this car, and then we'll get those installed. Alright, so we had to raise the car up and then kind of rotate that up pipe in through this angle between the block and the control arm. You can kind of see it in there, but now I got to get these gaskets on, and then there's this side over here. The thing that I'm most not looking forward to is trying to get the sensors in. There's one that's got to go in right there, and I think there's one on the up pipe that we got to put in. But so far these headers are nice. I mean, they're stainless steel, welds look good, so impressed.
There we go. Okay.
Got the O2 sensors out of the old one, out of the manifold and the downpipe. They're not in great shape, but we're trying to clean them up, and then we'll try these. I didn't have any check engine lights on this car, so I think these will still work. I hit them with some brake clean, and so we'll get these into the headers and the new downpipe that's sitting over there.
That thing.
All right. Yeah.
And then yeah. And then the headers
All right. How do you think you get this off?
with a wrench.
With a wrench. Yeah. I don't even know what this is. This could be wideband. I don't know. Anybody know what this is? That's not coming out of there. Let's see. What else we got? What size is this? 10? 10 millimeter?
I should be your camera woman.
Yeah, you should.
That looks funny.
Well, it's not working.
I think you'll see it when you rewatch the clip.
Oh, that's the magic of editing, right? Yeah, it's just rounding that off. Look at that.
So it's stuck.
Yeah. We're gonna let this soak for a minute.
Guys,
What'd you
look
do
at
with it?
this thing. Isn't it just like perfect? See, I keep trying to get Dad to sell me this car. Excuse you, sir. I
I don't know what car you're talking about.
keep getting Dad to try to. No, I keep trying to get Dad to sell me this car, but he won't. And I don't know why. I'm not a bad driver. I've only gotten into how many car accidents? 4?
3?
No, it's 4.
4. You're right.
3 of them were my fault. I should.
On tape, dude.
Yeah, I should not be admitting this to the internet. That's one of the pipages.
All right, so let's see if we can get this off. I need. I need the non. Okay, I'm gonna need the black one. And what did I do with that socket with the O2 sensor wrench on it? Did you find it?
What am I looking for?
The socket with the O2 sensor wrench?
The one that you just used?
Yeah. Oh, rats. Okay, that one's in. Ah! Go!
Don't put it on me.
Sure. Can you hand me that ring? Thank you.
I'm excited for you to get some of this stuff edited.
Yeah, me too. I don't know, thank you.
Is it not working or what?
It's not working.
Wow, I thought we just did it.
Well, I got it in here, but I can't get it over the stove. Can you look on this side on the top? Because I'm trying to get, I think it's this control arm down here that I'm running into.
Well, there's Oh, you mean down there?
So Spark's here building fuel lines for the kangaroo car.
Yeah, this one looks pretty nice.
Brand new, look at that.
Don't underestimate the power of lube. Lube is good stuff when you're putting on the fuel lines. Yeah, we'll go with that.
You heard it here first on Steel Ghost Garage. Never underestimate the power of lube.
That's funny.
So Spark got a brand new fuel line. Looks fantastic. Just did a great job. So we got 2 more to do. And we'll put those in.
Okay.
I've been through 2 sets of headers already, and neither one of them would fit. And I'm just not about ready to start pounding and bending and hammering things to get it to work. I've never had to do that in the past, so I'm not about ready to start. I know a lot of guys are like, well, you just kind of have to work it in there, you know, heat it up and kind of manipulate it and then pound it out and kind of maneuver it. And I've been doing headers for a long time, and I've never had to do that, depending on what you buy. So the 2 sets of headers that I bought for the Kangaroo car, both of them, the first set would not fit at all. I have some images of that. The connections to the heads, they were too far apart. It wouldn't make any difference what I did if they weren't going to go in. The guy said that it was for a EJ20, which is what this is, and he was trying to tell me I had a EJ25, which I don't. The second one was adjustable, so you could change how far apart the connections for the heads were, but the problem with that one is it wouldn't clear the oil pan. The angle on the driver's side pipes were not at the right angle, so that would have been a real pain, even if I would have tried to heat it up and fix it. So the guys over at Subi Mods, I had reached out to, I think it was either Scott or Steve. I'm horrible with names. Scott or Steve, I don't know. One of them. He asked me a few questions, and then he said, well, Tomei is the, I think the way he worded it was the lowest headache for headers for this car. The most plug and play, I guess. So that's what we have here. This set, let's see, it includes a, so this is the up pipe. Looks like it's already got a, oh no, that's just, this stuff feels really, really high quality. I mean, significantly higher than what I was using before, but this is significantly more expensive. It comes with thermal tape, so the recommendation is that you wrap the header, so that way as it passes over the oil pan, it's not heating up the oil pan. I can honestly say I've never used this stuff. I know a lot of guys swear by it. I never really had a need to. So we're going to do this and see how it works. They send you a license plate cover, which I've never used those. Don't plan to start. But these are fantastic. I can never get enough stickers, so I'm glad they send these. Looks like there's 2 colored and 2 black and white. And this is another thing I wish every company would do is installation manuals. So this you can scan with your phone and then it will tell you how to install it. I don't know why more companies don't do this. So it does come with a badge, a Tomei badge, which I think is kind of cool. I wish more companies would include these. These things are really slick. Got baby stickers. gaskets, hardware. So here's the headers that come in the box. It does look like they have some minor adjustment here for width. These are stainless steel. Welds look really solid. They're really good quality welds. Does have this support bar here, which I don't know what that's for. We're gonna find out. All the other heads I've had don't have this. I don't know if you're... I think that this has got to come out because there's things in the way. Well, we'll get in there and take a look. So that's what we're going to try to do. I'm going to get the instructions and we'll see what we need to do first. Alright, so I took this bar out that was here. These are 14s. Alright, we've encountered the first challenge. These are the exhaust manifold positioning brackets right here, one on each pipe. The instructions specifically tell you they specifically tell you to adjust the exhaust manifold positioning, okay? However, these are welded together. So yeah, there's going to be no adjusting any of that. Alright, so now what I got to figure out is how to wrap this stuff. Well, I'm going to try to get it into the car first, and then we'll see how it fits, and then we'll go from there.
Here I am, know it's been a while. I was in denial about my love. Here I stand, I know I walked away. Had to find the person I'd become. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. It's been there all along. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. That's where you belong. I was high and I was low, moved through mountains, rain and snow, but I felt that I was further from the truth. In one dark and stormy night, rolling thunder, flashing light, heard a whisper.
Alright, so I've been dealing with this for the last hour, and one of the things I've noticed that you can do to make this easier is if you get this wrapped in here, and then once you get it wrapped, if you just twist it while you hold this piece, and then that'll help you get it started. Kind of like that. And then what you can do is come in here and lock this top piece down. Just remember that there's two sides to this bandage. There's an exposed side and a sewn side. You want the sewn side to cover your exposed seam on the way up. Okay, got this one pipe wrapped, and not great, but we have some exposed spots, but I'm not overly worried about those. Just, you can see the sewn edge covers the exposed edge. It's about a 1/4 inch overlap, give or take. And so what we're going to try to do is do the same thing on the bottom, which it might get a little tight in some of these areas, but I think we can do it. We're going to wrap all 4 of these together, and we'll wrap them to right about here. We'll continue to wrap this individually, and this from here that way, this way individually, but these 4 are going to have to get wrapped together because you can see that there's not a lot of gap here. There's no gap underneath between these two. So over here there's no gap. We do have the O2 sensor plug here that we need to wrap around. So I'm going to work on that. This is taking a lot longer than I had anticipated. Working with this stuff is a pain. It wants to, you can see, it just wants to come undone when you work with it. So you have to be careful. If you see, as you're working with it, if you see an end that starts to get carried away, cut it right away so you don't snag it on something and then just unravel the whole thing. The other suggestion I would have is to make sure you're using more than less. You know, obviously I came down here and had more than I needed when I got done wrapping, but I'd rather be in that situation than not have enough. What I'm going to do is use this excess to continue finishing where, again, I didn't have enough here. So we'll work on that. See, look at this. It's just coming apart. So this is the first time I've ever wrapped headers. I don't know how good quality this is, whether there's better stuff out there. There's some guys that use silicone spray. I don't know what that's about, but being my first time, we're just going to stick with this since it was included in the kit. And so I'll continue to work on this, and then I'll check back in when we're done. All right, so I'm trying to get the EGT sensor out. This is in the up pipe. So this is the old up pipe. And so I'm trying to get this out. I used that peanut butter and jelly spray stuff to get this loose. Let it sit for like 2 or 3 days. Still didn't come out, so ended up using Godzilla grips to get them out. Got it loose. These can range from anywhere from $40 to $150 depending. And so if you have one that works, it's beneficial to just try to get it out. So I've got this one loose. We're going to take this one out. This is definitely the original factory. I kind of wrecked this this nut on here trying to get it out, but it's coming out. You can't use an O2 sensor socket on here because this is metal. There's a metal sleeve that sits here, and then the wire, so you wouldn't be able to get an O2 socket on here. The plug's pretty thick, so you can't really use a closed-in wrench on it. Like I said, the best success I had was, heat might have worked. If you guys have heat, that might have helped get it loose. But I finally got this out of here. And so that's all there is there. It's just a probe on the end of this. So you can see how bad it got. Had some slip on that one. But it'll work for now. I don't have a new one. And to get one here is going to take 2 to 3 weeks, which I don't know about you guys, but I hate waiting for parts. So we're going to use this one for now. And then we'll order another one and get it put in the car. So far, we got the headers on, got the up pipe on. So now we're in the process of getting the intake in. How many mistakes have I made so far? Let's see how many more I can make. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get... Nope, not going in that way. I don't know. Should we leave that on there? It's just going to fall off. And that's going to end up somewhere in the engine bay. And it's going to drive me nuts. Alright, I've never done this before. So let's see. They said just kind of shove it in there. There. I think it's somewhere around in there, right? Ta-da! So, I'm sure that's a lot easier to do when the intake is not bolted down. I tried to get the other one out when the intake was still in there, and that was not fun. And we're not even close to lined up on the intake. We gotta be right there. Intake bolts. I'm thinking I either need to clean these up or get new ones. And I don't think Ozone is gonna have those. What do you guys think? I need 8 of them. We'll find out. There you go.
That's just getting annoying.
This is a turbo oil feed line. This is the one I just pulled off the car. And you can see, kind of sort of, it has problems. You can see through it. So, got a new one. I think that's the part number. Spark's out here helping me put it in.
I think that's about as tight as it's gonna go.
Okay, thank you. So now we got to get this sleeve on there.
What?
It's an aluminum sleeve of some kind. I think this just keeps it cool, maybe. All right, moving on to Perrin's downpipe. This is a catted divorced downpipe. And the old one I don't think was the stock one. Where's the old one? This is the old one. And doesn't have a cat in it. I don't know if it'll improve anything. At least it'll look nice. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the new one in to make it look nice, because this one's ugly. Okay, we got that breathing sensor in the tail end of it. But the only other O2 sensor I've got is coming off the up pipe, from what I can tell. I think there's 2 that are coming off the up pipe, and then we've got this one down here. So maybe this is for a different model. Maybe the STI version has an extra one? I don't know. You guys tell me. Here's just a small sampling of stuff that I took off of the Kangaroo car. This right here was obviously doing a whole lot with the rest of it. This one went to the Whirly Go-Go machine injection sucking tube. I don't know where the other end of it goes. Thermostat housing. This is overflow tank. This is the bottom of the overflow tank. It sits like this. This goes to your PVC, whatever it is, crossover pipe. I think this maybe winds down into the head. I don't remember. This is another one that severely warped. This one's the worst one. Look at this thing. this is what the PCV valve was connected to. It was just sitting, just kind of hanging out in there. Wasn't clamped or anything. This is the downpipe to turbo gasket that's, yeah, seen better days. I don't remember what that one's for. But this just goes to show you that these cars require regular maintenance. You really got to pay attention to these things because each one of these is a point of failure. So if you have a Kangaroo car, make sure that you're keeping an eye out for the need to replace this stuff as you drive the car. Now remember, this is 233,000 miles. So obviously these have been through a lot. So coolant lines are attached. I ended up actually having to break this in half because on the old turbo they were connected and the gap on this one's too far apart. But my suggestion is to put your oil return line on first and then these on, because trying to get to that right there, which is a 10 millimeter, is easier obviously if this isn't in the way. These I think are 17s. I did get new crush washers for both sides of these. So now all we're going to do is just drop this in. I'm going to have Spark put it in. And then the only things that are left to do is the downpipe, which is sitting right here. And then it's all downhill from there. It's getting the intercooler back on. So we have to put freezer juice in it. Get the cold, not so cold, suction thing put in. And then, from what I understand, to prime that turbo, you disconnect the ignition fuse and then turn the key on, and then the oil pump will kick in and try to run to the turbo. So we're almost there. And I just cut this down the side, and again, this is what's left over from the old hose, the oil return feed line. And what I did is I just made a cut right here. And we're going to try to get this to come off of here. There we go. So that's all there was to it. Yeah, I think this was leaking. Alternator's back in. Just remember when you put these in, that bracket right there, the triangle end goes towards the alternator. When I first put it in, I had it facing the wrong way, and you can see it started to make with the sparklies. Not good. Got that line connected in there. Got the clamp on the turbo. Oil return line's done. I'm using my own fasteners on the turbo. These were 17 millimeter. And they're supposed to be torqued to 26 foot-pounds. And there's 5 of them, 4 which are holding in the turbo. There's one right there, there's one right there, there's one right there, and then there's 2 on the backside. So I ended up having to get a banjo bolt for this oil feed line with 2 crush washers. It was $32 at Subaru. Yeah, not happy. Have to reconnect all this stuff because to get that to fit, I had to take it all apart. Now that the turbo's mounted, we're going to put some more oil in, get that oil feed line connected, and then we'll work on the downpipe. Now that this is on here, I'm going to go underneath the car and we'll line up the oil return line to the hose, and then we'll clamp that into place. It's the only way I found to do it is to get this clamped on here first and then line up your own oil return line. Originally I had the oil return line attached to the bottom of the turbo and clamped in, and then I couldn't get this to align to the turbo. So that's my recommendation. So let me get underneath there and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is underneath, and you can see right there is the oil return line, and there's the hose behind it that needs to get connected to. This sits in front of the up pipe, so you need to line that up to this hose in order to keep the oil from draining out the bottom. So I'm gonna have Spark help me lift the turbo and then try to line that up into that hose and then clamp it. So I want to do a video of lines, because when I was going through this I could not figure out where any of these go. You have this coming off the radiator, and this one goes to the top of your overflow tank. There's another one underneath, and that one goes directly into the radiator right here. On the overflow tank you have a port on the bottom that goes into this pipe. There's a pipe that runs underneath the intake. So we want that clamped on there. You have another connection right here, and this goes into the top of the turbo. This hose right here is connected down there on the head, and it runs up in between the intake, well actually on the back of the intake, and comes up here, and then it will be connected to your two pipes that run across the top, and it will meet to that one right there. You have on your turbo inlet, you have this pipe right here that goes into this regulator, which is connected into the intake. You have another line that comes from underneath the intake and goes into a solenoid that is actually bolted in right back there. That solenoid, which is hard to see, has two hoses connected to it. One of them goes to here, the other one goes to this regulator. Down in there is your oil pressure sensor, which you can't really see. It's underneath the alternator. Let's see. Back here. Oh, there's another connection right here that comes out of your turbo inlet, and it's this blue line. And this is also going to connect to your crossover pipe that meets to that one. So these two will meet on that pipe and then be your crossover. There's a line over here. This line is fed through here, and it comes out and connects here. You really need to have a step down connection here, which I don't have. So make sure you find a step down connection, because this fastener or this fitting is thicker than this hose. The other one over here that you need to pay attention to is right here. So there's a little connector inside here that fits into this hose. Put a clamp there, and then this line runs right to there, where it eventually meets to the turbo. And that's what the turbo section looks like. It's got a T, one routing into there. There's another one that comes up to the top and runs into here. You have a coolant line that connects right there in the bottom of the turbo. The pipe that it connects to is back here on the bottom, and then the other pipe comes up here. We talked about that one. At the very bottom of the turbo, you have a oil return line. I will get some footage of that and show you guys what that looks like. Then you have on the back of here, which is your turbo inlet. So there's your PCV valve right down in there. It's got a pipe that goes down, and then one that runs up here into your turbo inlet, right there. And then another one that goes underneath the throttle body, down in there. Then you have this big pipe that comes off of the turbo inlet. It goes into this thing, which I believe is a blow-off valve. I could be wrong. I think that's what that is. And then that has a line that comes over here, goes to a T. One goes through the firewall, the other one comes down. It goes right here, connects there, and then goes underneath. This is the one that will get you. This is coming off the intake on the driver's side. It goes down here, and it goes nowhere. It's a vent. So I looked everywhere how to connect this, and it doesn't connect anything. Here's a video of your fuel lines that come into the intake. You have 3 of them. One's a vent, one's a return, and one's an intake. You have obviously your upper radiator hose right here. You have another hose that runs right to there. I think this is power steering fluid. And then your other, that's your lower radiator hose right there. And I think that's all of the hoses. So I'm doing that because I wish somebody would have done it for me. And hopefully it'll help you guys.